And we will be pulling up the presentation shortly.
Recording in progress.
Okay.
Pocky,
Yeah.
you have control. If you
I
want to
don't
go to the
know
slides.
if I do or not. I'm moving my mouse and my arrows and it's not working.
Try your mouse first and click on the slide. There you go.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so as a reminder, the selection criteria, you have all been asked to consider the following criteria when recommending the candidates to fill vacancies on the RTA CAC. We've got geographic representation, diversity of thought, economic representation, and demographic representation. A guideline that you were all provided was just a composition guideline. This is for the 35-member RTA Citizens Advisory Committee for existing and new members. This is only a guideline, as you know, and does not have to be an absolute requirement in the selection process. But it consisted of considering 19 members from the city of Tucson, 7 from Pima County, and then 2 each from the towns of Marana, Oro Valley, and Sahuarita. In addition, for all of you to consider 1 member each from the city of South Tucson, the Pasco Yaqui tribe, and the Tohono O'odham Nation.
Aki, while you're on that slide, the one you just showed, I wanted to just bring up what we have already. I think I have it right. Right now, the city of Tucson has 9. The Pima County has 8. Town of Marana has 2. Oro Valley has 2, Sahuarita has 1, and then South Tucson, Pasco Yaqui, and Tohono O'odham has 0. Is that what you have? Just so people know, if we are using that as a guideline, that we're kind of there, except for the city of Tucson, and we have 1 more in Pima County, and then of course the 0 ones. Anyway, I just thought I'd remind people of that.
Okay, and you're referring to the current 22 members.
Current, yes, I'm sorry, the current 22. So how many are either missing or in one case have too many?
Yeah, no,
Carolyn?
thank you for adding that. And you should have all been also provided that information at the beginning.
Yeah.
You want to verify that?
Yeah, that excuse me, those are numbers that I have for that, the breakdown of the current membership.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
So in terms of graphic representation,
It's me, Pocky.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I wanted to beat that previous slide up a little bit more too. Looking through all of my notes and my memory of our discussions or board discussions, I remember the conversation and wrote it down that the board was wanting to make sure that the city had, or was suggesting that the city have a majority, and 18 was the number that I was hearing from them. And not that I think it matters, 18 or 19 both represent a majority, if you will. But I don't remember the 19 is, I guess, what I'm saying.
okay, no, thanks, Tom. The numbers that you have before you are the ones that were provided from the RTA board once they had that suggested composition. So that's where the 19 came from. If there was discussion about moving it to 18, I can look into that further. But this is always the numbers that I have used up to this point. But thanks for pointing that out. I will definitely check on that.
Okay.
Any other questions on this slide? All right. So in terms of geographic representation, again, back to the suggested composition guideline, as you know, the RTA board has a goal of including participation from the 3 jurisdictions where we did not have That's the city of South Tucson, the Tohono O'odham Nation, and Pascagoula tribe. So the board may want to address this goal separately. So what we're recommending as staff is that you may want to reserve 3 seats for this purpose, just as a thought. In terms of the recommendations to the board, you have been requested to provide a list of the candidates to the best of your abilities to the RTA board for the January 2022 meeting. As you know, 91 applications were received for CAC consideration. The top 20 applicants were ranked by all of you, and up to 13 new members will be appointed by the board. And then just as a quick reminder, the board has established the RTA Next planning process as a public-driven process. Beyond the CAC's diverse representation, the RTA is going to conduct a public outreach to seek public input from underserved communities, as well as from other demographic populations in the region. All CAC meetings are open to the public, as you know, and the RTA is going to continue to seek public input along the way, especially when the CAC has an initial draft plan for the region-wide public review and feedback. Participation on the CAC is limited to up to 35 members, and the RTA board appoints members to the CAC without regard to race, color, age, gender, and ethnicity in compliance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. So in terms of next steps, a list of candidates is hopefully will be confirmed and developed today for the board to consider later this month. And then we will be compiling a summary report of the committee recommendation and present that to the board on January 27th. If there are no questions, we can move into the discussion of your recommendations.
Lucky.
Yes.
This is Tom. I guess I would say first off that I don't want us to necessarily save 3 positions for the board. Not that they don't have the right to do that themselves, but my point being that it would mean that in order to achieve what they've requested as far as numbers, that we would simply pick the top 10 city residents and send it to them, city applicants, and send that to the board with no consideration of any of the other candidates that from outside of the city of Tucson, because it takes 10 to go from 9 to 19, and 10 is all we would have out of the 13 if we were to reserve 3. So I prefer to take a look at the candidates, see where we stand as far as the ones that we like, with kind of without regard necessarily to where they hail from, and then look and see what that gives us. If it's close to what the board has requested, send it on. If it isn't, deliberate some more. But for myself, as an example, I'm prepared to put forward the first 10 names on the list of our ranked order, and then talk about some of the next 6 or so as the final 3 within our 13. So.
Thanks, Tom. I agree about the 13, not necessarily because of the jurisdiction, but just because they asked us to do that. And like you said, Tom, they can always take off, if we rank them, they can take off the bottom 3, or they can look at jurisdiction, or they can use other demographics or whatever they want to. But I would also like to give them 13. And what I have done, I think you're talking about the top 10 in all of our rankings. I went through and just picked, because of our rankings and other things, everything that showed up on all of our rankings, I have brought it, I've got a list of 20. I've narrowed it down to 20, but I can send that out or however we want to do it, I can present that, and I think it would probably be your 10 list plus more, and then we can go down instead of up. I'm not sure how you, if you've thought about how to address this, but that was what I was thinking, or we could compare the two and do whatever we needed to do. I've also have it in a spreadsheet where we can sort it in different ways, like zip codes, or I didn't do the actual jurisdictions as in ward and supervisor district, but I did do it by, jurisdiction generally, and the different voluntary information that we got from them. Except, Mayor, I didn't do it in terms of income or their industry. I figured I would leave that up to you. But we do have that information. I just didn't sort it like that.
So if I may, it sounds like we're already into the next item.
Right.
It might be helpful to go ahead and pull up the rankings and all that, and hopefully that'll help facilitate the conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Farhad. Yeah, I was going to say we have the information on the portal that Josh will be pulling up for you. And in terms of how many members are moving forward, as long as you all agree that that's what you want to do, then that's up to you.
Crystal, I'm
you.
unable to share my screen at this point. I guess I'm a panelist, or
Jeff,
So
I'm a participant rather.
while
Jeff,
we're
can
waiting
you-
on that, I'm sorry. I'm finally able to get there we go. I got my video on too. I have some technical issues. So back to Tom's suggestion there, I would agree that it might be helpful to have the top 10, and then here's additional 3 or 5 for consideration. That might be a little bit more productive for that conversation for the board.
I agree.
I suggested it because it's probably the top 10 are the only ones that really showed up on, as high ranking on a number of our ballots. And as you get down lower, even into like the low teens of those lists, according to my math, some of them may only be, in fact, one of them I can tell was my second choice and nobody else picked her. So it's kind of, if we're looking for ones where we have some common ground, I think we're probably only going to find them within maybe the top 10 or 12. And after that, it'll be kind of, let's look at them again, as I did with all of the top 20, as you did, Carolyn. Just reread them all, kind of almost started from scratch and said, do I like what they had to say? Does it look like they are representative in all the ways that we're looking for? And can I envision them as good members of the CAC? And at least for those top 10, I can definitely say they passed that test for me anyway.
So Tom, are you talking about, just to clarify, were you talking about the top 10 in the city that you wanted to start with, or the top 10 altogether?
Yeah, top 10 altogether from our joint rankings.
Okay.
So, Josh, could you pull up that top 10 ranking? There you go. And then can you please go over the distribution on the pie charts as well?
So, excuse me. So these are the, what am I doing? Let's make sure I have this clean. Okay. These are the top 10. I had selected some in there from a previous demonstration. The combined rank, because there are multiples here where it only shows up to 8. But we have 10 records. We have, as we look at the jurisdictional summary, we have 7 from the city of Tucson, 2 are unincorporated Pima County, one of which appears to be like Vale area, one of which appears to be just on the other side of the city boundary by the Rito River. And then we have 1 from Marana. So that's and where right now we have 8 anyhow. So that's the breakdown, where Pima County currently has 8 members. This would add 2 more, so it would put them 3 over what was on that list that was shared. And Marana has 2 members, so it would put them 1 over the list that was shared. But again, that was just a suggestion. And then we
Josh, would you mind zooming in a little bit on the city?
Sure.
City guys there, and I just wanted to look to see kind of who might be more or less available to at least regionally, if you will, or geographically to understand or represent or be sensitive to the South Tucson needs. And I see one there that's relatively close, it looks like. And then I was also interested in the 2 tribes to see, what we might have out of these guys.
So we don't really have anybody out in near Pasquayaki tribe over here, or the San Javier district, or the nation with this set. And
if you add our 22 to it, you get a little bit better, I think. But
okay.
Is it possible, and if you're done with, or when you're done, is that all of, do you have the current ones in there too? Is that what that just?
that's what I was just saying.
Oh, the current
okay,
22.
okay, you
Okay,
are,
so
okay,
yeah,
sorry.
let's add that in. So we can do current and selected. So that
In
puts us at 32. So the dark dots are the current members. The light blue are the applicants.
I'm sorry, Josh, is that just in the city? We're just talking about the city right now. Is that everybody in the city right there?
This is this is 32. So this is everyone.
Up 10 plus the 22.
Yeah.
So we have a couple that are, it appears, within a couple miles of the district anyway, and we do have Tucson Mountain area.
Yeah, sorry.
And Marana, we really haven't been able to get much from directly in Pasquayaki.
Tom, I don't think being close is what they were going for in terms
Oh, I
of
know.
tribal members, or, I mean, tribal members would be good even if they're not inside, but that is, I think, a lot different than having somebody representative of the nation or the tribe. So anyway.
And another way we can, we could look at 2 other views of this also. We can look at that top, we can look at a bunch of different views, but the top 30 of the combined ranks, we're still not getting, representation in these areas.
Right.
And even, and then kind of that broader issue of the applicants, of the 91 applicants, where are we? And that's still that limitation, and that's what, where that suggestion of, maybe offering up to 13, but if they wanted to have that tighter representation within those jurisdictional members, to bring them to the table, essentially.
So if I may add that that is my understanding of the desire is to have representation from those three jurisdictions. But again, your suggestion of, give them 13 with the understanding that the top 10 may move forward and they may select to have a different process for selecting representatives for those three jurisdictions.
Can we look at the other things that they said were important? Can we look at age and male, female here? And the ethnic group can you sort them those three ways separately and we can see what we have, Josh?
Yes. Do you want to do that with the top 10? Okay.
Yes, might as well.
Start there. That sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So for that top 10, where are we?
Here we go.
And the charting kind of helps us aggregate this a little bit. 7 of the 10 are female. 6 of so 4 of the 10 are between 21 and 39, and 6 are between 40 and 64. 4 are disabled, 6 are not. No veterans in that group. Household income, let's see.
There's 4 disabled? Huh.
Yes.
I only saw 3.
Let's see. I'm
Had 1, 3,
yeah,
and 9.
it wasn't sorted. So 27, 33, 35, and 24 applicant IDs.
Say again.
I'm sorry. 27, 33, 35, and 24.
Oh, okay.
Household income. 2 are below 25,000. Doesn't look like we have anyone between 25 and 50, but between 50,000 and 99,000, we have 5. And then between 100,000 and 199,000, we have 2. And then 1 declined to answer that question.
Okay.
And then in terms of employment industry, 5 are in government social advocacy. 1 is in business services, 1 declined to answer, and 3 are in education. We can get into a tighter breakdown on employer NAICS code for that. Let's see. 1 declined to answer of the government and social advocacy. It looks like we have administration of public education programs for 2 of the members. Another is in administrative general management consulting services in the government social advocacy. Of the 3 education, 2 appear to be colleges or university or professional schools, and then 1 is K-12. Oh, another of the government, I'm sorry, this is, I see what I did. Another of the government social advocacy is in fire protection. So one of the fire departments, and the business service is a lawyer. And then the final government social advocacy is a social advocacy organization.
So Josh, you show 2 of the government social and advocacies that are, as you go farther down in the employer NAICS, you see that they have to do with education.
So here, let me sort this differently. This should give us what, so of the government social advocacy, of these 5 in social government and advocacy, 2 are in administration of education programs. I really don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I don't know why that's different than being in K-12. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
And then in terms of primary transportation, of the 10, 3 use cars for primary transportation, 2 walk, 2 bus, 2 bike, and 1 declined to answer. That's certainly bringing diversity to primary transportation.
Josh, just 72 is one of those, and it says that person is a librarian, public librarian.
Okay, so that would be the education program that
Yeah, and I
policy.
don't know.
Actually not, that would be classified as information.
Well, maybe they, yeah, I don't, yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
And so, yeah, and this is the fun of NAICS codes, where the
Right.
employer may be Pima County Library, and so working off of the and honestly, a number of the folks working within educational services are like of the non-K-12 are likely at the U of A and could be an accountant at the U of A, can be a communications individual from the U of A, can be a high-tech lab, mirror lab manager. So like there's a lot of different groupings that can come from the employment based. It's not necessarily the occupation.
Right, all the data on educational services and basically it's all the teaching functions of either universities or public schools, elementary schools. Those all fit under the 61 classification.
Great, thank you for that clarification. Are there other questions related to their focus areas? Do we want to touch on that? That was originally kind of a an emphasis to understanding why the diversity of thought, the attempt to get at what are these individuals interested in. So the first focus area, and we asked for 3, so they weren't necessarily ranked. So all 3 are relevant. But for the first focus area, 2 are interested in bike ped facilities, 3 are interested in transit, roadway performance and improved mobility, 2, and then 1 is other, 1 is safety, and 1 is environmental stewardship.
Can you go over the ethnicity column?
Oh, I'm sorry.
See how we're doing on that?
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, that's the first thing you asked me for, and I missed it.
That's okay.
2 are Hispanic Latino, 3 are African American, 4 are white, and 1 is Asian Pacific Islander.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I was looking at, my choice for the 13, which is basically, as I said, the top 10, and then 3 of the next 4 actually, as it turned out in my own looking at it. And it really changed the demographics of the combined group. And I would presume that whoever we choose, should we go with the top 10 and then any other 3 after that, it's going to significantly change the makeup, I guess, of the CAC in terms of these demographics. All of them seem to go toward, seem to contribute to making the resultant 35 much more diverse, in my view. Like, you know, gender went almost 50-50, and race dropped or jumped up by about 50%, and age became considerably younger. So, and we added, you know, some folks who would be sensitive to the disabled community, as well as probably adding more diversity of thought as far as what their key interest areas were, and even I think that clearly was on the minds of the 5 of us as we put together the list.
I can, yeah, I mean, so I think that yeah, definitely kind of comes through, where here I'll show you the current members, and then you can kind of see how that changes, where we're on ethnicity and race, and then gender. I mean, all of these, I'm sorry, we don't necessarily have a side-by-side comparison. We can look to provide that in the reporting clearly, but just to be able to kind of toggle on and off, we can see where, yeah, once just with these 10 added, we are getting to much more parity on the gender, and then better distribution and everything that Tom just said. I'll not repeat everything. And in ethnicity. So right now we're looking at 10. Do we want to, I mean, is the group comfortable with this 10? And do we want to look to add in 3 more? How do you want to proceed?
Questions? Sorry, or do you have any other questions about, you know, any other information that you need, the 10 that we just discussed?
Not.
I'm sorry, it might be helpful to kind of reach a resolution on the 10 and then kind of take up the second part of the conversation separately. So if you're comfortable with the top 10, I would suggest that you would recommend that, and then we'll discuss the rest of it.
I'm not quite ready to do that. I think we should keep them as the top 10 as a placeholder, but there was a couple of others that I was hoping to make a pitch for, or at least have questions about, to see where they landed in our rankings.
Okay.
Unless anybody else has any questions, I was gonna keep asking. Okay. As I recall, there was only one Native American that applied. Can you show where that person ended up in our rankings?
14.
14. Well, I think it would be good, in the spirit of what the tribes have asked us, and I don't know where I would like to have a Native American be represented on here, even if it isn't from our own tribal interests here. And it was 14, so that's pretty high.
No, it's 14 rank. It's number 4 is the
number 4 is
the applicant ID.
Yeah, 4 is the applicant ID. What is ID? Did
There
it come up?
Yeah.
But it can't. What did he come up as here? Oh, 15.6, number 12.
Yeah, well, remember there's a tie for 6th in there,
Oh, yeah.
so he's really the 14th.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm just throwing that out there. We can put that aside now too and see if anybody else has.
Carolyn, I also have applicant number 4 in my preferred list of 13.
Okay, good. Preferred list of 13, right? Not 10. Okay, so that would have showed up. Number 4 would have shown up. Okay. Same here, by the way. Let me see what I've got here. Trying to go back and forth between the screens of your top. Let me, I need a second here. Let's see. 13. $16, $27, $24. Okay, number 16.
Yeah, Carolyn, 16 and 6 are my other 2, just
Oh, yeah, okay, that's
for everybody
good.
to know who those are.
Okay. 6. My 6 didn't show up in, I don't think, in my list. Let me see.
I was really struck by the fact that we don't have healthcare really represented
Yep.
at all, and that to me seemed like a since we're well, I don't know exactly what she does or where her where she works, but I like that point of view, I guess.
Okay.
Also in the top 20.
Let me see. There was another one that showed up in mine, and I know if we're strict about geographic, that'll be too much, but there's a Marana older Latina number 88.
Number 17, I think it is.
Oh, wait. She is 17, or that's the app ID is 9 for me is 88. Let me see. Oh, that was a different 88. Let me see. Can we
I think
see
it's 7. Look at 17 and see if that's one you're talking about.
It's not the one I'm talking about, but that is one. Let me see. Can you pull up 88, Josh? I'm now going to get out of my screen. Maybe I have the wrong jurisdiction. Let me see.
It was Tucson. It was also an older Hispanic female. There is one applicant that meets those characteristics in Marana and in Tucson.
Okay, and was that in? I don't think that was in our. That wasn't some.
They were
Top
ranked
20.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. North-South freeway. Never mind.
It looks like with the 3 that you already selected, Josh.
Tom got that.
Josh, with the 3 you already selected on top there, what does that do to the makeup? I believe it was 4, 6, and 16, right?
4, 16,
Yeah.
17. Yeah.
So for top 13. So what's your top 13 makeup now?
Do we want to look at current selected or just selected?
Just selected. And I think just like Caroline and Tom just said, with those additional 3, they're still ranked 11, 12, and 14. So that is consistent with the ranking as well.
4, 6, and 16, right?
Yeah, they were ranked 11, 12, and 14.
So,
Okay.
so that brings two more into Marana, and brings 3 more into the county and 9 into the city of Tucson
Altogether.
altogether. Well, yeah, for the 13. But actually, why am I at 14? Damn it! I'm sorry. Sorry to say that.
So it was your top 10 plus 3.
Yeah, and I don't know why I have an extra one here.
Do you have 31 checked?
I have
Probably
17.
shouldn't.
6
Oh,
I
seven.
have.
Oh, 17 is not.
Yeah, 17 is
selected.
not. Yep.
Do you want me to remove applicant ID 17? Is that correct? We have applicant ID 6 with 16, 6, 4, and 17. We only want to have 4, 16, and 17, correct?
No,
4, 6, and 16.
Okay, I'm sorry. I misheard that.
there you go.
Yeah, I brought all that up and I was mistaken. Okay.
So let's see, so that gets us, let me do this again.
While Josh is looking that up, Mary, it appears that you're trying to I cannot hear you. I just want to make sure. Could you give us a thumbs up or something if you're having mic?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Barely.
Now we can.
Now we can. It's not very good. I just didn't know if you were trying to say something earlier, but we're not hearing you well.
Okay, so that adds 1. So this set of 13 adds 1 CAC member to Marana, 3 to Pima County, unincorporated Pima County, and 9 to the city of Tucson. You know, 6 white, 1 Asian Pacific Islander, 2 Hispanic Latino, 3 African American, and 1 Native American, Alaskan Native. 9 are female, 4 are male, 6 are between 21 and 39 years old, 7 are between 40 and 64. And 4 are disabled. Looks like we've added a veteran in this set of 3, where we previously did not have any veterans. Household income. Start down here. 2 are below 225,000. 1 declined to answer. 7 are between 50 and 99,000. And 3 are between 100 and 199,000. Let's look at the employment industry. Sorry. So we now have 2 in business services. 1 is marketing, research, and public opinion polling. 1 is a lawyer. 1 declined to answer. 2 are employed college or university. 1 is K-12 and of the government, social and advocacy, employment industry. It looks like that's where the other 2 were added. Administration of public education programs for 2. General management consulting services, assisted living facilities for the elderly is the healthcare social assistance within the government employment industry. And then fire protection, other government support, and then other advocacy, social advocacy organization.
Okay.
And then for primary transportation, just to close this out, a 5 are car, 3 are biking, 2 are walking, 2 are take the bus, and 1 declined to answer. So still that is still a pretty diverse adding diversity to that grouping.
And this is our top 13?
This is the 13 that have been selected, correct?
The number 35, I didn't have that in the list you gave us earlier. Maybe I didn't write it down right.
That would have been in the top 10 list.
Really? I've got 2, 24, 27, 33, 36, 47, 50, 72, 79, 27, and then 4, 6, and 16. Which one did I get wrong? The 35 and not 36?
Put them in rank order so that you can
Yeah,
tell us and we can follow it a little easier.
Okay,
There we go.
combined rank, we have so the top combined rank is, and I'll go down in this order: App ID 33, 86, 24, 20, 47, 35, 50, 72, 79, 27, 2, and 16, 6, and 4.
okay, I have a suggestion, just because since we're looking at the geographic, can we go down to the next 2 or 3, let's say 3 people in the ranked order that are from the city, that live in the city of Tucson? Because we're not up to even the target in the city of Tucson.
Well, we're up to 18.
Right, we need one more. That's why, yeah.
I don't
Well,
think we need, I'm not sure we need one more. I think we can go to the board with the best ones we have and show that we have come close. I
yeah,
would,
well, I know, but I still want to look, and we've got
Sure.
now 3. Yeah,
So the next one would be in the combined rank. It,
30. No.
31, 16, and 6.
I thought we already had 16 and 6 on our list of
We do.
13. So we're going past 16 and 6.
so 31 would be the next candidate in the ranking, the combined rank.
Well, that looks
from
like
the
it's
city of Tucson.
that looks like it's above the 16, 6, and 4.
But the
that
16, 6, and 4 weren't added based on jurisdiction. They were
Oh.
added based on Tom's assessment of the next batch that helped kind of balance out some of the other parameters of the selection.
But besides 31, the next ones would be number 8, and then all the way down to number 53.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know. I know you disagree, Tom, but it might be good to have another Tucson person in there, which ranked above the ones that you picked. But let me see. What's the number again?
1.
31, 8, and 53 are the next highest ranked Tucson.
Okay.
Of the 3 that were added, 2 of the 3 were from Tucson. Is that
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. But so after the top 10, the next 3 are all white females from the city of Tucson. I liked the younger women and their interests. We have a lawyer in the other group of 10, and I felt like we needed to go down to number 4 in order to meet some of these diversity and interest issues that we've talked about, to get another Native American on on our roster. So
I
that,
understand.
that meant that I picked 2 of the 3 City of Tucson when I was looking at it, but obviously we need to hear what everyone thinks.
I just want to, sorry to interrupt, I just want to remind the committee that due to member availability, the meeting can only be until for 1 hour today. We're going to lose 1 member, so I don't know if you want to, Mary, I know you said you had to leave, so do you add anything or agree?
I agree with the 3 that Tom added, and I hear what you're saying, Carolyn. It's possible that the board will say, nope, we got to stick with what the City of Tucson wanted, but I really agree about adding Native American when we can, and this is an opportunity to add that. And so I do agree with those 16, 6, and 4, adding those 3.
And 6 was the health, and no, that was rural.
No, it was healthcare.
Yeah, well, it was more about elder access to transportation, I think.
Yeah.
Assisted living facilities for the elderly.
Yeah.
Number 6 was my second top selected one, just so you know.
Okay, well, this is, I think this sounds good. That Mayor, unless Mayor Tesso has any suggestions.
I think that we're getting there. I do believe that perhaps we should consider looking for another Tucson candidate.
And if that's the case, then it looks like we would need to pull from the top, from somewhere else, right? From that top 10 group.
Right.
Or of an unincorporated, of someone not from Tucson, which is unincorporated Pima County or Marana.
Right.
Do we want to look at that exercise? Let's add these. No, we have our I'll add in the next 3 Tucson candidates, or next 2, or should I add the 3rd one?
I think it was just 31. I would just add 31 and then see how you balance that.
Right.
Okay.
It's more about taking somebody off.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, boy.
I object to taking any of the top 10 off. Any of the non-city candidates. They all scored very high on my own personal list.
So if I may suggest, I think it would be helpful to break it down. Here's your top 10, here's your additional 3, and then at the board's pleasure, number 31 is to be added on as they wish. Again, if you recall, their guideline was just that. It was a guideline. It was not intended to be exact numbers.
Right.
Yeah, Mayor, how would you feel about us sending this list we're talking about and explaining to the board that we did not get to where they wanted, and see if they wanted to pull any off and, you know, add their own.
I think that would be a good idea, I think.
Yeah.
I like that idea too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. And just for the record, Tom, most of the ones in our top 10, actually everyone but one is in my top 10 or my top 13 as well. So I think we have a pretty good, I think we have a pretty good list. And I would hate to do that to the board, but who knows? Maybe somebody else has dropped off by now since we haven't had a meeting in a while, and it'll be easy.
Really.
So in the interest of time, I know Mary has to leave. If you're comfortable with that, if somebody would like to make a motion to go with 10, 3 plus 1, that would be very helpful.
So moved.
Yep. Second. Before we vote, can I ask Pocky or Josh or whoever, did we get the 5th rankings from our other member? Did those ever come in? Is this included in these?
We did not, unfortunately. So we are
Oh,
moving forward with the quorum of the committee
Yeah.
at this point.
okay, gotcha. Just curious.
All right, Pocky, if you don't mind, again, we want to respect Mary's time. Let's call the vote. I think we have consensus, but just for the sake of discussion, let's call the vote.
Okay. Carolyn,
Yes,
Tom,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Mayor Tusso.
Aye.
Okay.
All right. Thank you all. Really appreciate it. We all recognize you put a lot of time and energy into this, and we can't thank you enough. Appreciate the fact that you were able to spend some of your holiday to really dig in. We're really appreciative of that, and I'm sure the board is as well. And we just want to thank you. A wonderful opportunity for the CAC officers to hopefully work with some of the new members as they come on as well.
Yes, thank you all so much. We appreciate it. Echoing what Farhad said. Appreciate your time, and you did it. Congratulations.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It was a very good process. I appreciate the process tremendously.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
Have a wonderfonderful day. Thank
You
you.
too.
Happy New Year,
you too.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
You
Good night.
too.
Take
Happy
care.
New